are involved with. Yeah. But this action figure event in time and space is an experience. Yeah. Like every other experience, there was a point where it didn't seem to be happening, and then it does, and then it doesn't. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. So it's weird an experience would like to get out of an experience. Yeah. Well, that's it, Nina, for the whole day. That was it. It's the message. So today, the idea of the identification as self, it's important to, well, whatever, just putting it out there that there's no way that you are doing it. Yeah. There's just the act of being identified as self. It's a process that's processing, and that's its material. Yeah, and it ends. Yeah. So the bondage is believing that we're the one that's identified as something. Yes. And then of course, if you study that which you're identified as, it triggers usually, I don't want to be identified. And therefore, that which you're identified as seemingly is the in, and now you want to get out, which is just a bigger in. Yeah. So what would happen if, I've noticed it because doing the shares all these years, there's always this sense of free will, of volition underneath there lurking. And that shades us or causes us not, and it's not us, obviously, but it causes a reluctance to see what's going on. Yeah. Because we feel like we're overwhelmed already. Why, do I really want to know that I give everything all the meaning it has? Well, that which we're not doesn't, because it wants to believe you gave me a meaning today by not calling me back. Yes. But in fact, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. Yeah. Yeah. It's not changing anything. It's seeing the sequence. Yeah. To see actually how the game board is aligned. It's not changing anything. The idea of trying to change the act of being identified as self doesn't work. Yeah. You just see it. And then the sense that you're not it comes about. And then there's all the reservations and considerations that the head holds not to see a lot of shit. You start seeing it. Yeah. Because now there's no underlying bias or agenda going on. You can tell the truth. Yeah. Just like we were brought to tell the truth about alcoholism and that we were fucked. Yeah. Yeah. And what happened then? A possibility of real relief became available. As long as we were seemingly, aligned with the act of denying that fact that we were screwed, more screwing ensued. Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah. I was driving today, and there's a public radio station. So I had it on KPFA, and they were talking about this book, and that a lot of people remember, The Secret. Remember The Secret? Came with a documentary or something, and it was basically a rehashing of the law of attraction. Yeah. So the law of attraction is, if you intend or you're looking in that direction, it's going to increase the percentages of that happening. Yeah. Now, just entertain, how the hell that puts you in a very, very powerful position. Yeah. If you can attract stuff just by, whatever, leaning towards it. Yeah. What does that imply? There's a lot of power going on. Yeah. Now, of course, usually when people study the law of attraction, they want to attract like mates, cars, money, you know what I mean? Houses, good health. Yeah, that's cool and stuff like that. But you can see immediately, why not just tell the truth if you believe that stuff about the exact results right now of the law of attraction? Yeah. So the head was attracted to shit, and that's why it hovers over a lot of it. Yeah. It's good to, just tell the truth instead of, oh, not until this moment was there ever a thing called the law of attraction. But now I've read the book, and now I'm going to flex that muscle of law of attraction. If the law of attraction is true, look at what there's been attracted already. That would be very revealing. Instead of, I'm going to wield that tool, why not see how the tool was wielded already? And do you want more of that? Maybe, yeah. Instead of, oh, forget that. The law of attraction started when I read the first chapter. And now, no. If that's true, I'm not a believer or not, then you are, this whole event that's happening right now is the law of attraction. Yeah. So why are you attracted, or why is there an attraction to fucking drama, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results? Well, there would be a lot of truth in it if you could see it as now, not as something I'm going to use to get to better my my agenda. Yeah. And what do they say? Likes attract likes. So a mental activity attracts mental activities. Yeah. A mental idea of you is the primary idea of, not the sense of I am, that pulsating onness, but the mental, because you're looking from the mental all the time, or there's a looking from the mental called self-centeredness. Yeah. But I've never heard one of those talks from The Secret about, why don't we look right now and see what the law of attraction has done right now? Why not we reverse engineer instead of trying to engineer a future, just see what, now. And then maybe, wait a minute, thank God. So, all right, there's aversion and desire. Yes, there's wanting or aversion. There are movements. Yeah. But then maybe if you saw the movements, you could see that there's no you behind the movements. Yeah. Just like you thinking you have a resentment, the experience is really a resentment has you, doesn't it? That's more the experience. Yeah. You didn't set up the resentment. Something came about, it was read in a certain way, and then a resentment came over us. But we speak as if we did it. It's our resentment, yeah? You don't need to read about and get to a future laboratory. You're in one right now. You can check it out. Yeah. So non-duality is just a pair of glasses for some of us at this moment to look at the now. Where did the law of attraction work into this? If you're a real believer in the law of attraction, there must have been the past law of attraction, the present law of attraction, and then the future law of attraction. Yeah. I just know my whole intention is the future law of attraction. Why not see? Yeah. Yeah. The greatest thing that worked in me, let's say concerning relationships, was, I talk about I want to leave, but I never leave. So really, basically, I don't want to leave. So let's just get clear about that, so you can cut the fucking fat off. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go. No, I'm not. I'm too cozy here. I want to watch a show tonight. I'm not gonna fucking storm off. Yeah. So then this fucking mental fat gets cut off and you travel more leaner, lighter. Yes? Yeah. That's what non-duality does. It makes it okay not to do much, really. You finally just say, fuck it, you're off duty. Yeah. You've seen all what your doing has done. Maybe there's another modality that will work better. So you lose interest in a lot of shit and you find yourself right here. Yeah. And then you find yourself on a need to know basis. So a lot of time you're traveling pretty empty. You don't have giant spiritual equations going on in your head. You're just out to lunch, but in a very nice way. Yeah. And then when something happens, there's an availability of what's necessary. Yeah. 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 If you see all the stories that you seemingly have, why not start as the story that has all the other stories? It's just much more efficient. Yeah. Trying to extract meaning from all these different stories is reinforcing and giving great meaning to the original story, which is you, the one who has stories. It's like the thing of, let's get engaged with reincarnation based on the premise, which I don't believe is true, that there was ever any incarnation. I don't believe we're a long-lasting, separate, real thing. Yes. So no, let's forget that and go into reincarnation. I'm afraid I'm going to reincarnate as a bug. Yeah. All based on, there's an assumption that there's a you that's afraid to be a bug. The thing you should be afraid of is that you is possible of a lot more damage than the bug, I'll tell you. So you just see it, please. Yeah, please, just see it. And then let the chips start falling where they do, and then respond and report, hey, I'm traveling lighter. Yeah. Not based on, yeah. I'll tell you, if you live in the law of attraction in a dualistic sense, you're going to get a lot of unintended consequences from your little plan of attraction. You know what I mean? You'll be wanting to get rid of that which you wanted to attract probably sooner or later. Yes. It's just better to let some other force deal with the outcomes. Yeah. Hopefully, whatever. See, I believe humbly, if you're available, which you are, and present, which you are, you'll be of service. Yeah. Because why? You're available and present. I don't believe the availability and the presence is based on you doing or not doing stuff. I don't. I believe we're missing the elephant in the room is that we're present and therefore available. We may be available to some insane ideas that tell us we're not present, which is what happens, but we're available, yeah? And present. And I found that puts you in not you, but that you're in a state of being of service at that point. You may not be called to do service, but you're in a state of being of service, yeah? Yeah. And then a lot of the credibility or the spiritual credits you're hoping to acquire by doing service, you'll see you're willing to do it, but you usually don't even call to do it. Yeah. I've had so many times where people have called me late at night and say, hey, we got this guy. Do you want to go take him? I go, yeah. And I stop putting my pants on. And then 2 minutes later, they call me, oh, forget it. We took care of it. So I was willing to go, but I didn't have to go. So, yeah. Does the head and the narration of the head really, really afford you the sense of being present and available? Because if you're available to the head, there's a belief that you can be not present, obviously, because it dwells in what's not happening all the time. Yeah. So it actually believes there is a past and there is a future. So your availability is premised on how you're taking the past and the future. Yeah. So you are available to the head, and that makes you seemingly unavailable to now. Yeah. So what do you need to do? Get available to now? No. See through the availability to the head. Tell the truth, and then you'll be available now. And you'll realize you've always been available now, but you were available to the head for a while. Yes? The eye was taken off the ball, and you've been listening to a narrative of the game. Yeah. In other words, you're not playing. You are playing in the game, but you're in the television booth listening to the narration of the game. Yeah. And the thing in the television booth has a predetermined bias. You're going to lose. Yeah. So, yeah. You know, it's funny. I don't get any calls, and then all these calls come in at 4:35 on Tuesday. Yeah. You have 30 minutes to get back in touch with me, or you're going to lose this opportunity of $1 million. I miss it. I call them back at 5:30. It's over. I blew it. I hope everyone's doing well today, or not. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, yeah. You see the point. You've been listening, Nina. I'm looking at you because I just am. And I remember when you first showed up in the same seat in the Zooms of the other meetings. Yeah, they seem very similar to this meeting, but the other ones. And it's been wonderful to watch out. And did it take any really heavy lifting? Not that much, did it? No.
No, it was the opposite of heavy lifting. Thank God. It was stopping all the work and recognizing. But I had no idea what was going on. You explained like my entire life from the beginning problem and the assumptions and the presumptions of what was happening, from what I thought was happening that wasn't happening and what wasn't happening. It was like and it was all like the thing. Yeah, I mean, everything you say, but it was weird.
Why I can know it, Nina, why I can know you so well is because there isn't a you.
I know.
The same manufacturing program is here. So, yes, I didn't look into your life. I looked at the head, and it's quite similar.
And what a relief. And what a relief. The whole system, that it existed the way it did, was a complete relief, because the belief in that Nina was the problem.
Yes, exactly, honey. And so the Nina can't lose interest in the Nina. It's just more interest in Nina. So you see the Nina, and that means awareness. Yeah, you don't see it with eyes because there isn't one. You see Nina, or the selfing, and basically you'll observe what happens. Really, more gets revealed, and yeah.
She comes back with different tunes.
Oh, of course. Well, it comes back. It doesn't know any better. That's it. It has nothing to do with you in a real big level. Yeah. What it has to do with you is it's sort of like somebody who's jacked into your electric grid, and you're getting these huge electrical bills every month, and you're wondering what's going on. Something's using the juice to put, to propel its little story. What happens is when you wake up, you don't have to kill it or anything like that. You just cut the electricity off. It still has momentum, so it does its thing. But if you saw it in like a 10-year period, it would be like, yes, it's just slowly rolling to a halt. Seriously. So, yeah, loss of interest is the bomb, BALM, that everyone is looking for. But the looking for it is a form of interest. Yeah. Yeah. Am I really going to get what I want by not looking for it? Well, check it out. Yeah. Then you let the head tries to do that, and it gets very frustrated, and it goes back to its own thing. Yeah, which is, I look like I've gotten it, and my hair's grown. I speak in a nice monotone. I just fucking tear shit up at home when I get home, but I act pretty civil out there. Yeah, ready to kill somebody. Crazy. So I'm happy that we're all here. And anyone have anything they'd like to share or say or ask about any topic related to the topic?
Go ahead, Jack.
Jack, come on in. You may think this, my job is to do this talk, but it's really to open the door for the cat when it decides to come in. Really. In its view, that's it. I'm the doorman. Never gives me a tip. Just oh, here it is, right here. Also sees me as a chair occasionally. Yeah. All right. I don't hear anyone. Is that Jack? You took a vow of silence.
Sorry, I was muted. But I said, I remember when Nina was Nina, not Tina. And
Yes.
I've been thinking of getting a cat myself, but I see how much work it is watching you, so I may not.
Good work. You can have this one. Meet
So,
fat. Meet
beautiful.
Fatso. There
He's
you go.
beautiful. Beautiful cat.
She's getting ready to lay down. Yes. I'm on call every second.
All right. So for a couple weeks, I was doing nothing at all. And
A couple of weeks?
for a couple, well, probably longer than that, but I mean, really intensely doing nothing for a couple of weeks. In other words, I didn't get out of the chair actually for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
And I was staring at a tree pretty much the whole time. And anyway, you know, I've heard Ramana talk about the lazy state. And, you know, I kind of feel like I was in that lazy state. And, you know, and I heard David Godman talk about him. And I guess early on, this is a experience of Ramana's. He became so disconnected from the body sense that they found him after a while, and he had sores. This is gross, but he had sores and maggots on him, and that was because he was so disconnected from the body, from the physical body, that he completely ignored it. And I was thinking to myself, geez, I don't want that. That's not
No.
something I want. So I got up out of the chair and I started doing stuff the past couple days, but yeah, I don't know. That was just a share. I wanted to share. And
Yeah.
as far as okay, go ahead, Paul.
I didn't say anything.
Oh,
I was just going to ask you if you have a diaper on right now.
well, that's a funny thing you should ask. Because I was thinking that maybe we could suggest that you would wear a diaper and just stare at us on
Who
the
says
Zoom.
I'm not? Who says I'm not wearing a diaper? The inner circle of Zen bitch slap knows I'm wearing a diaper. They do. The inner circle. Yeah, they know how many colored diapers I have and the ones I like the most.
But awesome, and just thanks for being here, man.
Michael Stacy knows, but he swore he'd never say. See? Yeah. And
If the
no,
Lord-
who makes the Mickey sews those, Mickey from Madeira sews the diapers for me. Yeah. And instills it with the Mickey attitude. Yeah.
If the law of attraction works, I attracted you, my friend. So thank you.
There you go. Now you're stuck with me. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Thank you, Jack. I'm very happy to know you. I'm happy you're here. Diaper or no diaper. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the individuality expression of things, yeah, isn't the essential way of that no thing. It just can appear any way it wants. Yeah. It can. So remember, you know, the ideas of us, Paul and other people, this is why we always attempt to be clear about the message and the messenger, because we tend to, just like everything else that comes through us, we think we're doing it, yeah? But in this case, if you've ever been inspired to speak at a group or you know, the real observation of that event is that something moves through, yes? It doesn't start here and it doesn't stop here. It moves through. Yeah, yeah. And I've had that observation for years and years and years. And in those years of observation, I've come to realize in this state that my interest in it is not necessary. It coming through is not based on how I'm doing at all. Yeah. Sometimes it would even come through stronger when I was sick and shit. Yeah. So basically, it's very difficult to even imagine things without you. Yeah, but you know, and so you learn that I feel the greatest level of understanding this can arrive at is the understanding of Zen, which is don't know. Yeah, I would say that that's its greatest value, or its greatest success is becoming convinced of its inherent failure. Yeah, concerning this, what you are, what's really going on. Yeah. So that's the beauty of it. So you find great solace in I don't know. Yeah. And that, I feel is the best, you know, in this case, as this seat assignment, it works pretty well. Yeah. That you don't really have much, there's not much furniture that has to be moved for something to come out. Yeah. Yeah. There's a comedy stream about Paul but it's comes through this. We got to move this and get clear about this. No, it just comes through. And when the storm has departed, you can really get, there's a reverse engineering of the storm. It was a 5, whatever, its width was 20 something miles. You don't see that until after it does it. Yeah. But in this case, it's super clear that you have actually nothing to do with it other than it's using your vocal cords. And yeah, it's wonderful that way. I find the best value in this life, I can never get my hands on it. Yeah. That's the greatest value, is what I can't get my hands on. Yeah. But it can come through. Yeah? And like we say in recovery, you have it by giving it away. Yeah. So, anyone else, Mike? Jack, see you.
Yeah, David has his hand up. Come on in, David.
Hey, Paul. Hey, everybody. Thanks for the talk tonight. You really hit on something when you were just talking about the selfing, just falling away, running down, like running out of electricity tonight. Because I think there's like a desire inside of me that just goes, I have this big breakthrough epiphany, and that falls away. And it just, it always comes back. It's, I have days where presence is there, seemingly, and then there's days where the great Dave is in full effect again. And getting into recovery, I got so much benefit from the work I did on the 4th step, 5th step, the praying, the retuning of this system. There's a real desire to like continue with work, right? Like shadow work, more inventories, more, I got so much freedom out of that. And now I want to apply that to non-duality to be less of a self. And and then that turns into selfing almost, right? But then is there still a benefit in I still meditate, I'm still guilty of meditating, I'm still guilty of praying.
Yeah,
I'm still guilty
with that. It's just to have a sense that it's not you doing it. That's cool. Doesn't mean this diet isn't about what you eat or don't eat. It's about who's eating it. Yeah. That's all. Yeah. So if something works like meditation for probably mostly the action figure, it's wise to do it if you have the chance. Yes. And especially if there's a real need to do something, you better do it, in some level. But again, this isn't about progress or this or that, even recovery. It's about the absence of the long-lasting, independent, separate thing before it all. That's all. Yeah, just to throw that wrench in the works. Because as the Course in Miracles says, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. Well, instead of trying to change all the meaning everything is being given, why not see the meaning of the one who's giving it all? Yes? Maybe if that could weaken all the flavor of all the meanings would be different. Instead of trying to change this set of meaning, just change the meaning giver. Yeah. And because there's meaning given, there is, but is the meaning given done by a someone, a long-lasting, independent, separate thing, who's the doer of all that is done through this, who's the thinker of all the thoughts that are ever noticed, who's the one feeler of all the feelings that come through all day. It's just it's
a management position.
Once you put the light on that, or there's a light on it, its opaqueness becomes transparent quickly. Yeah, yeah. And more you lose interest in, all right, I'm going to change how I do this and how I do that. And you're more interested in that which is implied by all the claiming of all this stuff, because it's a mental process that's implying it, and it's the mental process that reinforces it. Yeah. And the mental process is something that happens in time. And that's why we can see it, because we're not of time. So we can see what what the head would say that we're doing. We can see it as if we're sitting in an audience. Yeah. Obviously, because we're not it. Yeah.
Yeah, I often see it a lot after the fact. It becomes amazingly clear. I see it in the moment sometimes, but the hindsight with it,
Well, yes, in
yeah.
time, seeing it after a fact is going to lead to seeing it before the fact. That's what happens. This is duality. So seeing after the fact, it's going to move into seeing before the fact. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate the like you said, over the years, just this thing is going to wind down, not fueling it, not giving it more attention. So,
Most definitely. Most definitely. It's like losing the keys to the car when you don't have a car. Yeah, you lose interest in the keys to the car. The keys aren't that important. It's because they start the car that it's important. So yeah. This idea that it's you present or the present, you are the present. So even when you are present, that's presence, because you are the presence entertaining it's a you. So there's no one presence taking over the other presence. There's one presence that appears in the other presence, and they're of the same ofness. Yeah. It's presence, and then presence acting as if it's someone who's forgotten that it's present.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I know it means it has so much impact in the day, but look at all those things that have happened to you and they've been forgotten. Even though the continuum has continued, the meaning of them have waned and eroded, not with any effort, just through time. Yeah. I feel, seriously, I mean, what does that tell you after a while?
I mean, it just feels like an illusion. Like most of it's just a dream.
It's dreaming, yes.
Yeah.
And it's like the Course in Miracles again says, the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. Yeah. It's that simple. So if the mental state has no other possibility other than its idea, you're in a state of self-centeredness, seemingly. Or let's say you're looking through a state of self-centeredness. So everything is going to be seen as it pertains to the self. Yeah. So this isn't about changing, it's seeing it. That's it. Just seeing it and then see where the chips fall. You don't rush in as that which you saw to try to change it. You realize that's completely doesn't work. So you're just telling the truth. Hey, what's the truth? I'm not that. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did you ever have any depression, a little bit of depression as the illusory self sort of loses its control? Sure. There's a depression. It's like, man, I used to really think I was something.
Exactly. See, a lot of people, some things could really bum you out, but that drive of being special and unique going ahead, you know, when that illusory motivation is seen through, yes, the system is scared of losing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I just want to lay around and sleep sometimes. I just feel there's no need to like go out and be this guy anymore that I never really was in the first place. I just want to stay home and like be with my kids.
Yeah, and see what happens. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to get you know, a letter of or a decree of okayness from that which is playing God. Check it out. You'll get tired of sleeping every day.
I hope. Yeah.
Then
I
you'll
hope
want
so.
then you want to do something. Yeah. And the kids will have you doing a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably a lot better than I was a year ago too. So, or year and a half.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thanks again so much, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Everyone here makes my day in some respects. Yeah.
All right, thank you, David. Next we have iPhone. iPhone, you have, come on in.
I see 3 iPhones.
Hi, is this me? Can you hear me?
All right, actually, I had another. Go ahead, Ari. Ari,
Okay,
is it Ari?
I thought maybe I was being represented by iPhone. So
No, go ahead.
okay. Not sure how to put this exactly, but I've wrangled with bipolar disorder most of my life, and it seems I discovered Ramana at the same time that I started having cycles, and it's been about.
Look at that one word, Ramana. At the same time you started having something. Well, I didn't hear that.
Oh, having bipolar mood swings.
Oh, yes. All right.
And there's always seemed to have been some kind of fine line between insanity and freedom, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And because it seems what happens, like when I met my first teacher that was explaining this philosophy or whatever it's called, I had these experiences of expansion and whatnot, and then they seem to always lead to some sort of psychotic episode. And then through the years, a lot of trash got taken out, and the episodes became less and less psychotic. And then lately, I'm just basically the point of my question. I'm trying to figure out how to discern between at some point, I guess the mind or the ego or whatever it is kind of claims to be like a teacher or whatever. I get these like delusions of grandeur or whatever. Oh, I'm the teacher now. And then at that point, things just start to fall apart, and I kind of wake up a week or two later. My money's spent, my life is rearranged, whatnot. And then I'm sort of putting back together the pieces. And I don't know if I'm being clear, but.
So you're being clear.
Yeah.
Do you have people that you respect, that you're in contact with? Maybe they can help you. Like we say in AA, what's really good is that we're not all insane at the same time. So,
Right.
yeah.
So I have friends and family that kind of clue me in that, hey, maybe you need to get some sleep or whatnot and kind of come back to earth. And I these days I follow that lead pretty well. In fact, I pretty much can lead myself there. I can kind of recognize when it's not, you know,
Yes, good.
working. But it seems over this 30 years or so of doing this process that there's like this, there's a crack between the worlds or whatever. There's a point where I would not be insane. I would just be, you know.
But
But
that's
it seems like,
that's already available. But but from the mental view, it may be extremely ordinary, but that's already available.
what's available? Just being?
Yes. So the way I'm hearing it, sometimes the profoundness that we think is a way of obscuring, like the ordinary condition of being. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people go to that crack and I like the dog shit awareness level better, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I think you already
Just
have a
what?
keen on it, and you said you have an intuition when you're starting to go there. Yeah, so you already have that. So just it's advertising that, you know, there's great profound emptiness beyond that but that's the truth of that is it's now. Yeah.
So if there's a promise of some future place that I'm going, that's like I just feel like I get tripped up at some point and kind of
Yeah.
lose my head, you know. I'm
Well,
trying to lose I'm trying to lose my head in the first place, or trying not to try, whatever. That gets complicated.
But that's
it
why
seems like a lot.
what's good is to have a community also, a little, if you can. If that's the case, have a community, check in, and yeah, see if it works. Yeah. A lot of people here, they talk with each other. I usually split after the talk, but we've have a nice strong community, and a lot of people have gone through what a lot of people go through, and there's wisdom, and then yeah, you may get insight not coming through you, but to you through others. And yeah, so come and hang out with us if you like.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can keep exploring it. And yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. It's sort of like, you know, the lawn is greener on the other side of the fence. There's a fence. The mental state puts fences up in the void. It starts believing that's the other side of the fence of the void is better than the void. Yeah. Yeah. Just I would just come to the community, check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next up, thank you for being patient, LJ. LJ, come on in. Sorry about that. Come on in.
Hey, no worries. So, I'm not even sure how to word this, but I've always been the queen of trauma and drama. And when I was a little girl, I went up into my head at a really early age because that was the safe place. And that's where I could figure things out and solutions to get out of the situation that I was in. And that's never stopped. I've never lived in my body. I've always lived up in my head, and I'm pretty ADD, and all the thoughts spin. And I've had many, many addictions over the years, but I've realized it's exactly like you say, that my biggest addiction is just to myself and trying to fix everything that I've always thought that's wrong with me. And I've kind of this process has happened, and I don't understand it. It's you know,
That's part of the process.
but I what you're
That you
talking
don't
about,
understand.
like,
That's part of it.
so I've had stage 4 cancer for 15 freaking years. I'm sitting in a clinical trial right now as I'm talking to you, and I have PTSD around medical centers. So I'm totally like in it right now. You know, I'm kind of being forced to face all my biggest fears if I still want to stay on this planet. And so I live in a travel trailer because I've had cancer so long in the United States. I have had to sell everything to continue to pay for everything. And the one silver lining to come out of that is I spend a lot of time in nature, and I've had these, I call them like Snow White experiences, where all of a sudden it's like I took a bunch of mushrooms or something, but I didn't. And I feel what you're talking about, where all the fear goes away. And I'm just like one with everything, and freaking hawks swoop in and everything. I mean, all the colors get brighter, and I feel like Dorothy that just landed in Oz. But it doesn't ever last for long. You know, the longest it's lasted is maybe a day. And then it's like I have these hangovers afterwards where everything comes up to the surface. And I used to be really good at disassociating, but I can't do that anymore. I'm just in it. But I think one of the things that's holding me back is surrender is, I've been in and out of 12-step meetings my whole life, and I've never been able to get all the way through the steps because all this trauma just like gets activated and I run. And, but I'm kind of at this place right now where I don't really have a choice in this anymore. It's whatever's happening is happening. But I feel like the thing that's holding me back is just this fear, because I don't really even know what being safe feels like. But I think the closest I can come to it is when I get up in my head and start trying to figure things out. But it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work at all. And so here I am.
Yes.
But I want to ask you, what do I do? But I know that I don't think there's anything I can do, but I don't know how to do nothing.
Well, are you still engaged with recovery?
No, I haven't. I've been doing a lot of more, not 12-step recovery now.
Yeah.
I was up until about a year ago, and it wasn't working at all. I was getting worse instead of better. So I bailed.
All right. Well,
but I'm not using any kind of substance.
Yeah.
anymore,
The message here is that description you've shared very clearly. Yeah. That doesn't verify that there's a someone. So we're not trying to weaken the conditions you're thinking you're in. We're trying to weaken the idea that there's you that's in the conditions. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to weaken the you because there isn't one. We're weakening that idea. So my suggestion here would come to satsang and listen and and see what happens with all this stuff you shared, and not changing any of that, but questioning the one little axis or the one little pole that everything is determined on. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just check it out. The sense of being the subject, the sense of being the noun. Yeah. Yeah. Just see it. Just ask. It doesn't even have to be a question. You just ask, I think you've already come to the question that you would need to ask. You've come to it because nothing's working and shit, and see what starts appearing. Yeah. And then when it starts working, honor that, because the head has the story. that nothing fucking works and shit like that. And so when you start getting different results, honor it. Yeah. And sometimes it has to be formalized because your head wants to go off on a 30-year tangent on feeling bad for 1 second, and it runs into a miracle. It forgets it in half an hour. So you have
Exactly.
to honor stuff that you have changed, and a lot has happened. And you know what? After everything you said, you're still here. Yes, this action figure is still here. So basically, yeah, you're still. So I would say. So all those things that have been given so much meaning have failed. They haven't stopped you. You're still here. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there you go. It's just the evidence is there. The head rushes in and makes its story up from it. You can see it in different lights. Yes. And give and also see there's a story of the one that's been disassociated. You can see it, obviously. Yes. So
It's like everything's accelerated. Like my thoughts are just in this panic and like it's throwing all these memories and digging stuff up. And
great.
but then like I'll be in the middle of all this like excruciating, painful stuff. And then I look out and I see some dead corn stalks, and it's the most beautiful thing. It like brings me to my knees, and it's like, what the hell is going on? And then I'm back in all the trauma. And it's
it seems like you're back in all the trauma, but you're not. And it seems like you're in the cornstalk, and you're not, in a sense. You're the underlying basis of it all. Yes. And sometimes the underlying basis leans towards that stone, that stalk, cornstalk, and then you get an eternity of aha in a moment. Yeah. And then the constant beating of the other fucking drum goes on. But in fact, the underlying condition is conditionalness. It's conditionless. That's what we are. And we don't get to access that as what we're not. You have to start seeing what you're not. And what you're not has crystallized by the claiming of all these disassociations and all the trauma. Yeah. Yes. And so to get out of the trauma, it's based on it, and it's part and parcel of the trauma now. Yes. It's like in recovery, you see people when they go back out, and some of them are very smart, and then they meet you and they explain why they went out and this and that. And they believe going out was one thing, and now they're having an objective observation. The objective observation is part of the going out. They keep going out with great knowledge. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after, the head, it's anchored into some of these stories. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And those stories have validity because they did seemingly happen. Yes. But what's sucking the life out of them is, and using it for its own life, is the one who went through all this trauma, the one who has all this stuff. And the beauty of this message is just weakening that static, stagnant noun of that one. And then you come to a different conclusion and a different relation with trauma and everything else. Yes, because that one, it's like crystallized. It's like arthritic. It can't move. Yes.
Yeah.
So you see that in a different light, and then it changes how you see the trauma and this and that. Instead of trying to change that, which is lending its idea to the trauma, you see that. Yeah. Yeah. So, and something brought you here. So obviously something knew what I was going to say before I said it, because you're here. Yeah. Yes. Trauma is subjective. Yes. It's us that give the meaning to the trauma. One of the meanings we give to trauma is it can give us a meaning. I have been run over twice by a car. I was for a long time in a part of the hospital that had severe bone damage. And there was many of us. And they kept us meeting after we could get up in a wheelchair and shit with each other. And everyone there responded different to the similar trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Some started drinking, some stopped drinking. Some did this, some did that. Yes. The meaning, there's a meaning before all that gives us meaning. There's a meaning before that. And that meaning is you, the sense of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. This is where we're looking at for lightness and relief, because it's not there to begin with. We don't have to undo anything. We have to see it's never been done. Yes. And then you'll hold trauma differently, because that which is you take yourself to be, this story is arthritic. It can only hold trauma the way it holds trauma. It's past the point of crystallization. But if you see it from what you are, you'll see value in trauma maybe that you never saw before. You'll see a whole lot that you never saw before. Yeah. But as long as you're the seer and the haver of the trauma, you're only going to see it and have it a certain way. Yeah. And in that certain way, it's usually it has you now. At this point of the story, the trauma has you. Yeah. So we don't have any miracles here. We don't have any processes. We're just questioning that which is assumed to be before all of these things. Yeah. Because I don't believe what you think is before it is before it. I don't. I think the idea of you is part and parcel of what comes after. Truly. I think what's before it is what we are, which is if you want to call it awareness or vibrant spirit or something, but it doesn't look like a 6'1" something else. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it's not you as an action figure. It's you as the doer, the feeler, the one who has the trauma, the one who wants to get out of the trauma, the one who has cancer, the one who wants to get out of cancer, the one that's constantly imagined by the claiming of everything that's happening in our lives. That one. Yeah. That's the point of this platform. And I find it's just like when people come into recovery, you meet them, for 20 minutes, they tell you how fucked everything is. And you're going like, yeah, you're fucked completely. And then you go, and they go, well, what should I do? Go to a meeting. It makes no sense to them. They don't have the money for rent. They don't have this, but that's the fucking logic of relief. That's the logic of recovery. Yeah. It doesn't fit the logic that the head is spewing out about all this shit. It doesn't. That's why it works. It's not from the head. It's about the head. Yeah. So this is the point of these talks. Yeah. If you feel a little strange of something's talking about, I've got to go insane to get to the real sanity, and it's feeling a little weird, you're probably right. It's probably weird. Probably the head has taken over that spiritual earnestness or that yearning to go in, to whatever, and it's commandeered it and it's using it for its own fucking ends. Yes. Usually you can tell because it feels a little uneasy because you're fucking right. It is.
It's more than a little uneasy. It's well, having knowledge, I've always thought was what would save me, and now I don't know anything. All this stuff I thought I knew, all the ways that I could define this whole world that I live in. I don't know. It's all wrong. I don't know anything.
Great, fantastic. And all that shit that's happened has had great value in you. And really, in a lot of ways, it takes what it takes. Yeah. Some people hear it. Some people have to go through a lot of shit to hear it. It's just the way it goes. Yeah. I felt it was a little over abusive for the car that ran me over to run me over again. But that's what was necessary. I had to get run over twice to sooner or later come to my senses. Yeah. That's how it goes. And you have great value for other people that have gone through all this stuff you're going through. Yes, it can be put to great use. It's funny, in recovery, they believe the real agenda is to become a maximum use to other people. Yeah. Not for me to get well, not for me to be great, but to be of maximum use. Wow. What a way of looking at it from a we, not a I or a me point of view. You see, the illness is this me point of view. It is. It's the biggest addiction of all. Yes. So thanks for coming, and thanks for feeling safe enough to share here.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Yes. Anyone else, Michael?
All right, Paul, that's all we have for today.
Oh, is it? Oh, all right.
You got a minute to share?
Bruce,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
good. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, not that anything I might have had a concern about hasn't been addressed. Yeah, crazy. Just prior to the meet, well, I cut out of another meeting and said, it's time for me to go play student over here in Satsang with all of you. And when you share that feeling that you have, there's no Paul Hedderman, so there's like this awareness that there's this flowing, I get through, and then there's like a presence, and then there's also, well, on one hand, inevitably I'm going to pass away, but on the other hand, so then the awareness that when it's not me, that insanity that sense of insanity, but then the disassociation, then it's not me that's feeling disassociated. But then, so then turning away from the self onto others, that presence of flowing, seeing the seeing of the flowing in others, through others as well, as that's all I got.
See,
That's why I'm here.
It was funny. I had this one experience at a meeting of AA years ago, where a guy who had a lot of time at that point had been, he met a woman that was outside of AA, and he was joining them in going out to dinner, and they were drinking, and they looked like they were having fun and stuff like that. And the guy he shared at the meeting, and he says, the way he could see it is, I got to stop seeing this lady or start drinking. That was basically it. So he came up to me after the meeting. I said, why don't you just do some service and see, and then take a look at the situation? Because right now you're in the thick of it. Yeah. You're up the ass of self, and you're in that extreme black or white. Either I drink with her or I got to leave. There's other possibilities of how to see it. And the way you're seeing it now can adapt to that. But if you go out and do some service, come back to this, and you'll probably see it's not kill her or drink, there's other possibilities. It's just those blinders aren't allowed. All you're seeing is an extreme. Yes. I was just going to drink with her or have to never see her again. No, it can go other ways. Yeah.
There's a feeling of availability.
Yeah. So you get available to other points of view. This is part of being available. So you get available to other points of view, and because some of the old way of seeing is a blindness, really. You're not seeing shit. Yeah.
Well, then, that idea that it's all on one screen of consciousness, all our points of view. Another kind of devastation to the idea of self,
Yes, because, yeah. So
well, the camera thing, seeing the bigger picture. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks so much, Paul, because that feeling of that flow it's like to getting used to that. And yeah, it has felt very challenging as an action figure, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't suffer from pain so much in the way that others might. Yet, like I say, on that one hand, you know, so there is that balance. I feel like I'm running on instinct almost, in the sense that there's no prior thinking. Hey, where were we before we had that idea of self, you know, as a young child, that, you know, that state of mind, not state of mind, but without that sense of self. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Thanks so much.
Yeah. I mean, so many people in recovery get free samples of the pause, PAUSE, of intuitive thoughts. They see vast conspiracy of coincidences. I just had to say, it's so freaking funny. I haven't been to these meetings at noon around here, yeah, that I used to go to. So I went to vote, and who walks out of the voting booth? One of those guys from the meeting. It happens all the time. It's just constantly, there's just, I mean, if you got guys to see, it's unbelievable. You're in such good hands in a way. Yeah.
But I don't know, and to get here to where I never left, you know, the idea of the community being available and present to, you know, to share along the way.
You see, the joy of the journey isn't the journey, it's the fact on having never left. That's what allows the traveling later to occur.
Yeah, like where are we going? You know, where's there to go? Or who's to
literally,
go?
Literally. And yet you're going to go a lot of places. But see, if you're resting on having never left, it's it works.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. So satsang. Sit singing. Yeah.
All right, Bruce. It's a pleasure.
Later, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
here, Bruce. Yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
Yes. Thank you. Where's Mike? Mike has transcended, I think. He's left the
No, I'm here. No, we have one more question with Kathleen. Kathleen, come on in.
Come on, Kathleen.
Hi, Paul. Kathleen, I just wanted to thank LJ for talking. I never have shared at these meetings before, but you know, you don't always know how important it is what you're saying is to other people. I learned that in 12-step meetings. But you know, I have a sister, my younger sister, not Julie, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer last year, and she's doing really well, but she's a year in, you know. So to hear you say you've been living with it for 15 years, I get to talk to her tomorrow and tell her I met somebody who is living with it for 15 years. And she's been
maybe she can exchange the phone number, and
she's been looking for that, you know, for that, to hear that from someone. And I just am very grateful for you for opening your mouth and sharing tonight. So thank you.
Well, if you don't mind, then maybe, is it IJ or LJ? You can offer.
Is it IJ or LJ? I thought it was LJ.
LJ, you can send Kathleen, you know, a message or whatever. I don't know how you get. How do you do that, Mike? I mean, Mike.
I'll send you my phone number.
Did you chat?
Yeah, in the chat.
The chat.
Yeah, and you can direct message.
Yeah, that would be great. So
thank you, and thank you, Paul.
There's an instant demonstration of the
That's
value.
how it happens. Yep.
Yes, it's. I mean, it's right. It's always in the open. You don't. You know, you're getting Zen bitch slapped all the time. All right. Well, that's it for today. Michael, you're the main man. I just called up Michael if he was coming and let him do the whole thing. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kathleen. Say hello to your sisters above and below. Yeah. We got Stuart. There he is. sitting in Oz, yes. Nice to see you, Stewie. We got Kerry, Hawaii. We got Michael S. There he is. Nice to see you. We got Kelly, looking comfortable there. Yeah. Mia. Nice to see you. We got LJ. Thank you, honey, for today. I don't know if I'm saying this. Aaron. Nice to meet you, my friend. Susan K, the latte lady. Nina, a great benefactor to Zen Bitch Lab. Let's see. We got Don O. I know one thing, he's not thinking about signing up for a Vipassana retreat. There you go. Success. We got Bill C, Bill
I
Churchman.
interrupt you a sec, Paul. I just wanted to say I haven't been here for a number of weeks and I'm just really glad to be here. I mean, I'm always here, but I'm just glad to be here. So thanks
Yeah.
for being here.
Yeah, it's nice to see you, Don. The door's always open, I hope.
Thanks.
Jack G, roaming around, yes. We met in the Berkshires. Oh, I think I now know. Yes, great. Sherry, as always, nice to see you. John in Florida. Yeah. We got Erin there without Tobias. There she is. Kathleen. Yes. Zoe. My two ninja ladies, Kelly and Zoe. Yeah. Get those black yoga outfits ready. You never know. Conch shell. They. Yeah. We got Bruce, David B, Miranda. Let's see who else. Mandy. Oh, nice. Lucas, David Bitterman, Al from Las Vegas, from Long Island, from Long Beach. Al, that makes you, you're in my historical vicinity. Yes. So. Do I owe you any money, Al? I don't know. I may have done something to you in the past. I want to make an amend. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Did you ever go under the boardwalk down in Long Beach?
Lost my virginity there. Haven't
Yeah,
been back since.
There you go.
Oh,
Yes.
that TMI? Sorry.
Yeah. All right, Al. Good to see you. Oh, there's Tobias. He dropped in. Thank you. Everybody, thanks so much. I hope to see you again. Everything, all the talks are on the Zen Bitch Slap event page. I think there's no passwords. It's all the same Zoom, I feel. And yeah, see you soon. See you, Zoe.
Thanks,
See you.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Paul.